Hello, let's work through the problems from section 6.6. All right, find the amplitude, period, phase shift, graph the function, label key points, and do it for 2 periods. So, from the top, our amplitude is the absolute value of the number multiplying the function. That's just going to be 6. Our period. The period of cosine is typically 2 pi. We're going to divide by the number multiplying our variable, so that's 2 pi over 4. That's pi over 2. Our phase shift is pi over 2, the number being added, divided by the number multiplying x. That's pi over 8. I typically like to present this in the following way. If I factor that 4 out, 4 factored out of 4x leaves behind x, and 4 factored out of pi over 2 leaves behind pi over 8. There's your phase shift. Since it's being added, this is a left phase shift. And now, the only other thing we need is what shape do we draw? It's a positive number times a cosine curve. So a cosine curve with a positive number in front starts at its maximum. There's one full period. There's another full period. Great. Okay, the median height hasn't been changed, so the median is still 0. If I move up one full amplitude from the median, since the amplitude is 6 and the median is 0, moving up 6 from 0 gives me a height of 6, while moving down to the minimum is to move down one full amplitude from the median. If I move down 6 units from 0, I am at minus 6. Okay. A cosine curve would typically start at a value of x equals 0, but I move pi over 8 units to the left. So I'm starting this now at negative pi over 8. And now I'm just going to mark off a quarter period. So your cosine curve, every quarter period is going to go max to middle, to min, to middle, to max, to middle, to min, to middle, to max. Every quarter period, it marches forward one of those quadrants. Okay. So all of these x values correspond to 1/4 of a period of movement. Now the period, we already computed to be pi over 2. So I can pretty quickly find what a quarter period is. So if a period is pi over 2, 1/4 period is pi over 2 times a quarter, or pi over 8. So I'm just going to march forward by adding a quarter period. So from negative pi over 8, if I add pi over 8, I'm at x equals 0. Then I'll be at 1 pi over 8, 2 pi over 8, 3 pi over 8, 4 pi over 8, 5 pi over 8, 6 pi over 8, 7 pi over 8. Now, if you want, you can come through and simplify these things. Okay. What can we simplify? Totally optional, in my opinion. This is pi over 4. This is pi over 2. This is 3 pi over 4. And there we have it. Now we want to label key points. So this is now a matter of expectations. So for me, all of these, the key points, by the way, are these maxes and medians and mins. So what we should do is maybe come through and label all 9 of these points. For my expectations, it's already done. So for example, if I look at this point right here, I've already labeled the x coordinate and the y coordinate, which means this point has coordinates 2 pi over 8, 0. The x coordinate was clearly already labeled with a vertical line, and the y coordinate was clearly labeled with a horizontal line. If I want to come through to this point, I say, what's its x coordinate? 5 pi over 8. What's its y coordinate? Negative 6. So make sure you understand what's expected of you. For me, you don't need to label all 9 points. In essence, you've already done it as long as all of those vertical lines are labeled and all of the horizontal lines are labeled. Other people may have different expectations. Just make sure you know what you need to do. But we know we have a positive cosine looking curve, shifted pi over 8 units to the left, so that's why we start at negative pi over 8. If the period was pi over 2, a quarter period is pi over 8, so I just march forward. To march off each of these quadrant motions, max to median to min to median to max, etc., I go add pi over 8. So from minus pi over 8, 0, pi over 8, 2 pi over 8, 3 pi over 8, and so forth. Okay. So we do it again for this function here. The amplitude is the absolute value of minus 5. That's 5. Okay. The period is 2 pi over 2. That's pi. The shift, that's pi over 2 or pi over 4. As I mentioned on the previous problem, the way I like to express that is factor this 2 out, and it gives you your phase shift right there. And now our shape is a sine function, but it's got a minus number in front of it. So I want to start at the median, but not go up. That would be a positive sign. I want to start at the median and go down. So here is my negative sine looking function, but I want to draw 2 full periods of it because that's what they told us to do. Oh, my shift, by the way, is pi over 4 units to the left. So instead of starting this at 0, I'm going to start at pi over 4 units to the left at minus pi over 4. Now, if my period is pi, 1/4 period is pi over 4. So from the median to the minimum, to the median, to the maximum, to the median, to the minimum, to the median, to the maximum, and at the end back to the median, I just add pi over 4. So from negative pi over 4, I go to 0, pi over 4, 2 pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, 4 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4, 6 pi over 4, 7 pi over 4. If you really care, you can start simplifying these. This is pi over 2, this is pi, this is 3 pi over 2, whatever. Let's label some y values. We haven't done a vertical shift. A vertical shift, by the way, would look like adding something on at the end there. Since we don't have anything added there, our median value is 0. Our maximum value is to move one amplitude up, and since the amplitude was 5, that goes up to 5. And our minimum value is to move one amplitude down, so that will be at minus 5. And again, depending on what's expected of you by whom, you can do things like, let's extract the coordinates of this point right here. Well, the x coordinate is pi over 2. The y coordinate is 5, so there's the coordinates of that point. If you need to, you can go through and label all 9 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But since we've already labeled all vertical lines with relevant x coordinates and horizontal lines with relevant y coordinates, it's pretty redundant as far as I'm concerned. All right. Now let's write the equation of a sine function that has the following characteristics. So we're looking for a sine function. Like this, okay? It doesn't have an up or down shift, so I don't need to worry about this. The absolute value of a needs to be 3. 2 pi over omega needs to be the period, that's 6 pi. And phi over omega needs to be the phase shift, that's 1/4. Okay, so a can be plus or minus 3. Here I get 2 pi equals 6 pi times omega. If I divide both sides by 6 pi, I get omega equals 1/3. So phi over 1/3 must equal 1/4, which gives me phi is equal to 1/12 by multiplying both sides by 1/3. We don't really have any information to distinguish whether we want plus or minus 3 here, so both would be correct as far as I'm concerned. So y is equal to, let's just go with 3, times the sine of omega x plus phi